What we're going to build or draw today is a picture frame holder. So what you do is you see it's got a slot here. So what you do is you put your picture in here and it just leans up against this. Anyway, this one's made out of oak, and because we've already got this one built, I'm just going to go ahead and measure it and copy it. So pretty simple today. But we still have to go through the design process of how we're going to do it. So this one is 3.5. So we'll write our dimensions down here. So the base is going to be 3.5. I don't scale a lot of sketches. Most of my stuff is done on sketches. So this dimension is 3.5. Usually you keep your outside dimensions on one side, and then like features you put in a different, like on a different side. That's typically what you do when you're drawing a thing. And then you'd have 3 views. You'd have a top view, side view, and front. So it's a front view and a side view. So top view, side view, front view. And then on all of those views, it takes care of all 3 dimensions, length, width, and height. And then you just go ahead and fill in the information around the object until you get all the information you need to do everything you need to do. So one thing I noticed is, see, we have this thing. So on the top view, if you're looking at it like this, all you're going to see is this little square right here. So we need to put the square in right here. And then you also notice that we have a slot. But it's going to appear like just 2 lines coming across if you look at the front view or the top view. So you go like this to identify that. Again, this is not to scale. All we're going off is dimensions. So let's measure this. I think it's 3/4 by 3/4 in the erasers, and it is. So then we lay in our dimensions for that. So we draw it up like this. I'm going to put 3/4 right here. And then to get the other 3/4 dimension, we go like that. Actually, I could draw that over to the other side. That way our feature dimensions are on the opposite side, which helps it be clearer. Try to be as legible as you can with the numbers and as clear lines as you can get. And always use a pencil, that way if you have to erase something and change something, it's much easier to do. On the whiteboard, it's really easy to do anyway. So anyway, now we have those dimensions. Now we have our width, or this across here, easier to come across the bottom. It's 5 inches. So we'll make, oh, I was supposed to keep them on the other side, so go like that. I'll put this here. So this is 5 inches. Oh, what did I write? A 3, 4, 5. Let's have 3s on my mind. I love the number 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. Beautiful number. All right. So then we got this height and this width. Now we need to know about our slot. You can't put a depth on it yet. That'll be taken care of in a different view. So we'll go like this. Our slot width is going to be 3/4. Okay? Again, I could have put that over here, and I'm tired of erasing. As long as your numbers are clear, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But usually, like I said, you try to keep your exterior dimensions free from the dimensions that are in here, taking care of these other things. So anyway, that should have been over here with this one, but it's okay, it'll work. So, all right, and then let's do the top. It's the top view, so let's do the right side view. So the right side view will look like this. We put a dash line. A dash line is called a hidden line in the drafting world. So that's just a line that tells you that this goes all the way through the material. Okay? So that's what that is. And we got to put the slot in right here. I'm glad I can just take my finger. Whiteboards are a beautiful thing for that kind of thing. Okay, now we've got to put a few more dimensions on this one. We know that this dimension is 3.5, so we can just extend this dimension line all the way across. And we know that this is 3/4 from that one, but it's just nice to put something else, another dimension like this. And then you can, where you can actually see the feature, it's called the real feature dimension. All right, so this one you can't see it, the actual feature. We know it's sticking up out of the wood, so that would, you'd put reference bars around that, knowing that that's actually 3/4. It's important to keep track of which numbers are the most important. This is actually the number that's more important in this case. And when we show this, the other view over here will actually show the other dimension, which will take the place of this one here, and then that'll become a reference number. All right, and so let's place where this is on the board, this dado. Remember, a rabbet is a portion of a dado, or of a slot. So a rabbet would be like this. This is the rabbet, okay? This is a dado, where it's enclosed on 3 sides. Rabbets are only enclosed on 2 sides. That's an important thing to remember. So on the dado, we'll locate that from the edge, and that is, this would be about a 1/2 inch, and it is. Again, you want to use your dimension lines so it's easy to read. And we know that the slot width from over here is 3/4. You can actually see it, so this becomes a reference dimension. All right, and then we got 3/4. We got 3/4 here, a 1/2 inch. We know that this is coming up. It's called an implied dimension. So we don't have to put a dimension from here to here because we know we want it flush because it's drawn such that it is flush. That's a concept, an idea, and it's so simple, it's hard to know what it is sometimes. All it is if this all lines up, we know that it's flush. And so we want to try to keep this flush with this back surface, all right? Also, you'll notice that there's a screw on the back side here. Now that would involve another drawing, because this will actually be, so it's the back side. So it's a front view is going to be here, this is the side view. In order to get that screw in there, we're actually going to have to draw an extra view up above, because you want a view showing everything. Typically, I know the screw is going to be there myself, but you don't, if you need to put that in there, you need to put it in. So I'm going to show you how that's done. So anyway, so this is all good. All right, so we'll draw, we've got dimensions for this whole thing. We know that this dimension, see, now I'm going to skip over that number and bring the dimension line out further. And see, we've already got that dimension, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so let's go to the front view. So top view, right side view. Let's see, right side view, top view. This is going to be the front view. I'll just do the view and then I'll do the rest. So here's the front view. Let's see here, what's that going to look like in my head? It's going to look like this. Yes. So you want to draw the bottom surface like this. Bring it up 3/4 of an inch, bring it across. And then we have dash line to represent the vertical part. Make a better line here. What we're going to do with this view is we're going to locate where that is on our block. We could actually do, this would be a better place to do it, so we're just going to show it this way for now. Okay, so we're heading And that will show us, oh, I forgot to put the height on there. I did not remember to do that. So the length of that stick is 6 inches. Okay? 6 inches. And we know the length, you can tell that this one is shorter than this, and yeah, this says it's 5 inches long, this says 6. It's not to scale, okay? If it was a scale drawing, all that stuff would have to be, it would look right. But when you're just building something and you know that the lengths are correct, then you're good to go on. And this is a fairly simple one. Anything more complex than this, you'd want to do a scale drawing, probably. So, okay, and then we got another hidden line, which is a slot. I'm just trying to get you to think about the slot. And the other thing we could do here is on this one is, how deep is that slot? It appears to be about half the thickness. So half of 3/4 is, remember how we did that? A little refresher here. So if you take 3/4 times 1/2, come across, multiplying that, and then 4 times 2 is 8. Got it? So 3/4, if you take half of 3/4, it's going to be 3/8. Okay? Very simple math that you'll use every day as a carpenter. It gets simple after a while if you don't remember it. It just it becomes part of your thinking. All right, so this slot depth is 3/8. We know the rest of it about that. Let's see. This view didn't give us much, and this time, usually the front view is the one that gives you the most, but you always want to have a front view because sometimes you got to put other things on there. Like this is all radius here. These corners, it's got a 1/4 inch round over. So if you don't represent that, you can put it right here and just put an arrow, like this whole top surface. We can just make a little radius on there. And then put an arrow to it. Round over, I just abbreviate to RO. So round over, and then 1/4. Okay? Another place I'll have a round over, and you can do this up here. So don't mar or scratch the picture frame on the back side, is right here. Same kind of thing. You can put a line with an arrow to it, radius, or round over 1/4. All right. How you put round over? In the drafting world, you put a radius. And a radius is very simply the distance out to the edge of the circle from the center. All right, so that's what a radius is. So our diameter would actually be, I'm just reviewing here a little bit. I don't want to take a lot of time doing that. So that's a 1/2 inch diameter. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to do the back view so we can show the back slot. Oh, the screw, that's what we really wanted to show. We'll have stick coming up. So say you run out of paper and you don't really need the top of it, you can draw a squiggly line like that. And that's fine. Everybody knows that it means it's just broken off at that point. And there's a lot of ways to present things that are broken like that off, but it just represents that. And all we're trying to do here is get this screw located. So you put the screw in here, and then you can also put it right here. As a dashed line. So we're just trying to locate it. It looks like it's centered, and that's all we're shooting for here. So I'm just going to write in screw so that we don't forget that we need a screw on the back side. And it's okay to use some arrows, as long as it don't get too messy. You know, as long as it's clear where the screw is. Now it's shown in two places. That doesn't mean we need two screws, that means we need to use one screw. And that's, you know, you can actually write that on here if you're confused about it. But, and that's fine. Here, it's not writing up there for some reason. One screw. I did not print, I wrote it this time. But anyway, it's just to represent the screw. So to build this, we need two pieces then. So we'll need this piece, we'll call it A, and we need the second piece, letter B. And then the rest of it's just cutting out the different features in the wood. So we drew a thing last year. It's our cut list. So we're going to write cut list. We're going to have our letter A, quantity, so label, quantity, size, material. Okay, so the letter is A. We have a quantity of 1. Size is 3/4 by 3/4 by 3/4 by 6 inches. Material will be, in this case, basswood. We're just going to abbreviate and put BW. Okay. Our second part is letter B. We have just one of them, quantity 1. Size is, well, it's going to be 3/4 by 3.5 by 5 out of basswood. Sometimes I'll use a little caret mark to just say another one, you know, so that's another approach is when you're, it's kind of redundant to say basswood, basswood, basswood for 50 times if there's 50 parts. So I would just put a ditto mark on there. So anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing as far as the construction of this picture holder. That's what I have for you.